south side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Straight rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody, as people file in here? This is the Pinwheels and Ivy, the Lockout edition. So I have no idea where this is going to go tonight, and I kind of like that. We're just doing the social media thing right now. Yeah. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Sure. All right, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday. I don't have a calendar up. Thursday, December 9th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe, a.k.a. Lockout Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Guys, we even with the lockout, we're like in full free agent rumor mode right now. It's unbelievable.
It is interesting how much stuff is still circulating around. Not as much as it would be, obviously, if it wasn't a lockout, but There's still some meat on the bone. And the good Reverend K. Fitz.
According to sources, a major league team is interested in a good player to acquire potentially via signing when the lockout ends.
I don't believe you. Anyways.
Liar.
I had to break that just now. Teams are interested. Also,
who's your source?
It was very clear that I'm interested in Kate Beckinsale, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to sign her.
So we actually I think this is going to be a really fun show for you guys this week. Of course, we are on time the first week of the lockout when we don't have any baseball stuff to talk about. It's the first time we're on time.
Getting this ship up right now, are we?
Hey, the Cubs and Sox got some minor leaguers today.
Yeah,
got a Rule 5 draft.
There's a Rule 5 draft going on, but we do got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. If you're watching us live, please feel free to jump in the comment section, ask questions, any and all questions. Doesn't have to be about baseball. Will be answered tonight. As you notice, I'm in a new background, so I apologize if there's any mic feedback. I got kicked out of my office because my wife has to get her master's.
Well,
it is a very sexy painting that you have blurred behind you, though. It looks like a man and a woman at a bar.
Oh yeah,
is that how you and the missus met? Is that a first moment?
Yeah, right? We classy up in this bitch. But yeah, you can ask Bears questions. I really don't give a shit what you guys ask. We just want to talk to you guys. Yeah, we just want to. Finally, for the first time ever, we'll welcome Bears questions, whatever.
MLS. I don't know shit about MLS, but
yeah. So here we are, everybody. Well, actually, let's do the official. Let's tap this keg.
Ooh.
As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the mobile app, turn on push notifications. Bears, Hawks, Cubs, Sox, Sky, UFC, everything is covered. Make sure you turn those on. You'll be the push notifications come out right away. Be the first one of your friends, family to know what's going on in the world of Chicago sports. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you get that mobile application. Mr. Hand really wants you to know you have no chance with Kate Beckinsale. Sorry, bud. I think you have a chance. So here we are. We're locked out.
Locked out. Thanks, Mr. Hand. My God.
The billionaires didn't like the way the millionaires were doing things, so they took their ball and went home and told them there's no baseball for right now. I'm still standing strong on my opinion, theory, whatever you want to call it, that the 2022 season will start on time. I think this shit gets worked out. I really do. But yeah, because of the stoppage, we had that crazy NBA-like barrage of free agent signings, and it was a lot of fun for like 48 hours. And then it just stopped. We were just cut off. It was like they pumped us full of high-end drugs, and then we're like, all right, peace. So that was really cool of them.
A lot of heavy petting. And
yeah.
You have to just go back home alone.
Yep. It's just like, That was cool. It was like we fell in love with the stripper. Anyways, uh,
But she gave me a free dance.
she told me her real name. Um, I can save you. Anyways,
I'm Miss Diamond. What? What's her real
so
name? Okay.
we did have a Rule 5 draft. I did not see who the Cubs took. Did you guys? I think they did take somebody, right?
It's a lefty from the Giants. Big beard.
Big beard.
What was that? Menez?
Mhm. Throws about 892, another soft thrower.
Just another bullpen guy. This is what the Cubs do.
Yep.
We can shout out the Cubs all we want, but
Lawn darts.
they just found random guys that they might only be good for a year, but they'll be good for a year.
He has decent numbers too. I mean, he actually doesn't have bad numbers in his two.
Or they'll pick him up and trade him to the Rays, and he'll win a Cy Young. Either way, yeah, it could happen. The White Sox made one pick that took guy Moses Castillo, shortstop. He was in the Cardinals organization. He is 6'1", 170 pounds, bats righty, throws righty. His career in the minor leagues, he never got above AA so far. He's got just over 1,000 at bats. He's in 239, 329, slugging 327, has 13 home runs.
Watch out, Tim Anderson.
You learned so much about him in that speak and spell voice.
Yes. Good job.
Auto tunes numbers.
Yes. The one guy that everybody knows that was picked up is the Dodgers. Carson Fulmer, man.
Yeah.
Guy just won't go away. He speaking of nights with strippers, he just keeps coming up.
I mean, you know what's going to happen, though.
Dodgers, White Sox World Series. Carson Fulmer comes in to win the Game 6.
Carson Fulmer is just going to have like a solid year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's on the Dodgers.
He'll have like a 3.7 ERA. He'll make like 43 appearances. He'll be fine. And then Sox fans will get mad, even though Carson Fulmer just wasn't ever good.
This man is like the baseball cat. He has more than 9 lives. He just keeps getting work. I mean, I don't know how or what happens, but the man.
You know why? It doesn't matter what sport it is. I know baseball has before the last couple of years, they have like 40-something rounds or whatever. But what is he? You can always say he has first-round talent.
First White Sox, he owes a lot. He owes a lot to the White Sox for that. So, shout out to friend of the show, Jordan Lazowski. Your boy lives to ride another day. I missed the makeup table too, Jack. But yeah, that's wild, dude. I can't believe he. We get some hard hitting questions in here, Fitz. Yeah, hope you're right.
Let's put K-Fizz on that.
Want to just go right in? All right, we'll dive right into the Q&A. First question. Here we go. Did Reverend pop the question yet?
It's a little early for that one. But I know that she doesn't listen to this show.
Let's see how Reverend can get Kevin.
I know that she doesn't listen to this show, so I can say this, and she's not at home yet, thank goodness. But yeah. So the Adele tickets went on sale here for her Adele limited engagement, and they were allegedly rumored to be $2,000 a pop, but they were actually like it starts in the $85 range, not too bad. But you had to be in a lottery, and so I was in the lottery. We didn't make it to the lottery. We lost, both of us. So I gotta try and track down some of these tickets. But the goal is to get the tickets, take her to dinner that night for the Adele show. But before we go to the Adele show,
so this is happening.
Have her buy my meal. So
it would really suck if this is the one episode she does listen to.
Yeah, she's like, I'll check out Kevin's show.
Maybe it's misdirection. I'm going to have a pug dressed as a unicorn shit all over the carpet at her work and surprise the shit out of her. I don't know. A lot of things that I can really. There's a lot on the table here, but yeah, no, it's coming soon. Actually, there will be a soon to be Mrs. Fiddler very soon. So yeah, that's happening.
Boom! Breaking news. Okay. I like that. Who says we
talk
can't
about the hot stove.
I may no longer be on the free agent wire, but I might still end up on waivers if I'm not fucking careful.
Hot stove and Fit residents. I like it. We're still breaking news out here. Another question in the comments. Does Aldo double as a stand-in for Anthony Rendon? Probably
I wish I had his paycheck.
Probably have the same batting average.
Do people forget? Remember Anthony Rendon's contract?
It's ridiculous.
And he was injured, and then kind of not that good.
No, he was not that good.
Yump just wins. Yump just won the night already.
Yeah, he loves screenshots. I love it too.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Oh god! So those of you that are watching at home, check out Yumpert, Lil Yumpert account. If you haven't, we've got ourselves a winner here.
I mean, we got to tag Jordan that.
All right, we'll start. So we put the bet signal out, if you will, out on Twitter, asking people for questions. Again, questions about anything. And as we're answering these questions, if you think of something and want to put it in the comment section, please do. If you listen to this podcast on any one of the various platforms and you're not able to watch the live show, please feel free to shoot us a DM or tweet at us at PinwheelsIvyPod, and we'll get to it next week. We've got a couple months here, fellas. I think this thing's going at least to February.
We survived the COVID. We have to do another movie draft. We all evolve.
No, I'm never doing another draft on this show again.
I already won too many drafts.
Yeah, and I'm just not doing that again. So we start with the Cubs question.
I'll draft the chimp movie.
From Dave Byer. His handle is @Verban Emil. It's a three-parter right out the gate.
Does it start with long-time listener, first-time caller? Because if not, fuck 'em.
It should. But one, when will Nico have a healthy season? Do you want me to ask all three questions and we'll break it down, or do you want to go one by one?
I'll just do all three. We'll break down after.
When will Nico have a healthy season? Number two, how many Chicago Cubs will Javi tag out, and will the number be more or less than the number of times he avoids a Cub player tagging him? All right, I follow it. And three, estimated number of home runs against the Cubs by Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, and Schwarber in 22.
Okay. Although, which of the three would you like to handle? And I'll handle whatever crumbs are like. And they're wheat thins, by the way. They're wheat thins. They're not Triscuits. Fuck a Triscuit.
I'll take the first one because it's the easiest one to answer. When will Nico have a healthy season? Fuck if we know.
Hopefully 2022.
Yeah, I like Nico Horner. You know, he fits the player prototype that I typically root for. I hope he can stay healthy. We never wished for injury for anyone on this show, but injuries are impossible to predict. Hopefully he spends this offseason strengthening up what he needs to strengthen up, and he's ready to go. So that's the only answer I can think of for that question. But number two, how many Cubs will Javi tag out, and will it be more or less than the number of times he avoids a Cub player tagging him?
Yes.
My audio. I apologize for my audio.
Yeah, so where are you? Like, where did you move to? Hell?
Starbucks.
No, I don't know what's going on. I'm literally closer to the modem here. I'm gonna bounce while you guys answer this question. I'll come back.
It's auto-tune zone.
I thought it was just like, oh, I must have a terrible connection. Zoe sounds like a fucking robot from like a 1950s movie.
No.
He actually sounds like Neo when he actually gets swallowed up by the mirror. The digital sound. Speaking of the Matrix, it's coming out I'm going to go see the Matrix on the big screen Saturday night. Actually, that'll be fun. The original. Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, do the Cubs even play the Tigers? By the way, is that? I guess we should preface.
I don't think so. Is that any better?
So I would say the answer would be 0.
0, yeah.
0.
Didn't they just play the NL Central last year? Or the AL Central?
Yeah, I think other than the White Sox, I think they're moving on to they're going to the I think the Yankees this year. They play the Yankees and the Red Sox because the Yankees are playing in Chicago and the Red Sox are playing the Cubs in Boston. I actually was talking to my girlfriend about going to watch them because her friend lives in Boston now, so we have a place to crash and she can get tickets.
So hopefully hopefully we'll get like a number like if they meet in the World Series.
Is it better now?
Yes.
All right. And yes, I have worse Wi-Fi. Me and my Sox Summer split the bill. So
I mean, you guys keep having more things in common.
Yes, and it's scary. It is actually petrifying. So yeah, I don't know how. I don't think they play each other at all.
Yeah, no, not in 2022.
No,
Again, unless there's a World Series matchup.
But this one's interesting.
2022, mark it down. Throw the bets down.
Rematch at 45.
This one's interesting. How many homers against the Cubs by Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, and Schwarber. Well, Baez on the Tigers.
So
none.
none
Schwarber
there.
will probably. I think Schwarber's going to end up in the AL still. I think Rizzo. I think actually the only one I think you could probably count on is KB, and it depends if it's a team in the West. Then I say the answer would be maybe 1 or 2 because you may get 6 games tops or anywhere in the
Unless
NL.
he signs with like an AL West team.
Yeah, then
It might be 0 again.
It might be 0 again. Very well. I mean, yeah, if he loads in with like Seattle or whatever, but if he goes to the Rockies,
like 26.
Yeah, if he goes to the Rockies, there'll be at least 47 home runs hit in one weekend.
I have a better Rizzo question. Like, will Anthony Rizzo end up with more NFTs, or like, will he have more money made with NFTs or his next contract?
Will his crypto go to the moon?
To the moon.
To the moon.
I did not count me in for a guy that did not see Anthony Rizzo becoming a crypto bro.
Oh no! He's anti-vax. I mean, he's not getting vaxxed. There's a lot of crypto anti.
I mean, that just seemed out of nowhere. I was like, okay.
All right, I know I froze, but I came back. Is it better now?
It didn't fix your face.
No, that's
no. You're good. The important thing is you don't sound.
I've been trying to fix that face for 30-some years.
Baseball and whatever. That's a really great question. There was also a really good story in Sports Mockery.
Hold on. Time out. Stay on task. We can't jump questions.
I saw that. I was like, hey, it's very
all
good.
right.
I like this. I like this one from Kevin.
So which one is this one?
So the next one in line here.
Oh,
are you doing so this is directed directly to Fids from White Sox Truther Hates MLB Owners at Sam R33V3S. Mary Fuck Kill for K Fids only.
Okay.
Chris Bryant, Ian Happ, Kyle Schwarber.
Okay. Well, I mean, we obviously know that there's, I marry for money. So I am a gold digger. So I'm going to have the guy that has the most money. And it will be really easy to not have to move because he lives like right down the street. So we'll go.
You're going to say Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I'm going to marry Chris. And when I went to Chicago for back in June, and I went to the White Sox game. One of the funniest parts about my weekend was my girlfriend, her best friend, brought some of his friends, and he's a nice gay man, and he brought his nice gay friend, and his gay friend. I walked in, and I swear to God, it was Kyle Schwarber. So for the whole weekend, I told this guy he was gay Kyle Schwarber. He showed me his baseball swing. I said, okay. Then he showed me his dance moves, which I thought really were reminiscent of Kyle Schwarber as a swing dancer and singer in his choir back in high school. Came good friends, really good dude. So like the running gag all weekend, gay Kyle Schwarber. So I guess, I'm familiar with that. He's a really good beard. So I guess I'll have to fuck Kyle Schwarber. And then he'll be the bottom though. And then we've got, Ian Happ.
Power bottom.
Yeah. Beard bottom. And then bear bottom, even if you will. Sorry, Ian, you're a nice guy. But of those three, I got a red wedding the fuck out of you, buddy. Sorry.
That's actually really surprising. I thought you were going to bang Ian Happ and kill Kyle Schwarber.
Ian's too small. He'd be a spinner. That's just not going to work.
Kyle Schwarber would he wouldn't die.
No.
Kevin would die.
Yeah, right. With Kyle, it feels like I didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay, fair enough.
Damn.
From good friend of the show, Mailman Jack. What's the best Pringles flavor, and why is it the relatively hard to find ranch? So Jack is saying ranch is the best Pringles flavor. Pringles, best flavor. Your thoughts?
I mean, I like sour cream and onion.
I'm a sour cream and onion guy too, man. I'm a sour cream and onion guy.
Unfortunately, a few years ago, whatever oil it is that they use, for the first time, it like hit me. I'm like, fuck. I can't just like knock out an entire can in one sitting anymore.
Timeout, Matt. False. We're switching up between the ones on the screen and the ones that people asked before the show. Carry on.
You are on the Facebook, but these are also coming from the Twitters.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, I'm like, I've gotten to the age where I can't just eat an entire can of Pringles anymore.
Oh, I definitely can, and I'm older than you.
Yeah, I can get my hand stuck at the bottom.
Yeah, that's rookie numbers. We gotta get those numbers up.
Yeah.
You gotta get those numbers up.
You need to don't hold yourself back.
I can eat the extra flaming hot Cheetos, but not Pringles.
Honestly, guys, here's
because I can't do that.
Maybe I'm disgusting. I could be disgusting here, but I will take Pringles with a plate with ketchup all over it. Dip the Pringles in the ketchup.
Yes.
Happy man.
Hold on.
Pringles
I
and ketchup.
will address this. I have time tonight, Matt.
Oh, what's the question, Matt? What was the question?
Yeah, Matt, what
answer
is your
right now?
question, dude?
What is
Because
it?
I have Twitter pulled up literally right here. I don't
Matt,
see
who's
you.
Matt? Matt, drop your
Twitter
What's your handle?
We're making our way through here, but we're going in order.
Brewhand. You're not Brewhand Luke.
But we're going to answer Brewhand Luke's question next.
Wayne Chigirian Prince. Is that it's Wayne?
Brewhand Luke asks, let's get back to the questions. Brewhand Luke asks, college football, who wins the Natty and who's the next Oregon coach? Lane Kiffin? And question marks. So we'll start with who wins the Natty. Who you guys got winning national championship?
Bama.
I mean, I was gonna say it's. I mean, they just find a fucking way.
It seems
really
like
hard.
sometimes these good things seem to happen to people.
I know they lost their best wide receiver, but I mean, Georgia was allowing like 6 points a game.
Yeah, it's
and Alabama dropped like 40. I'm like nothing.
I was gonna say it's really Bama's quarterback looks like he's like absolutely rolling right now. I like Michigan, and this is coming from a Notre Dame fan. I really like how Michigan's played this year. That Hutchinson dude's an absolute fucking beast.
They run the ball well.
They run the ball really well, but Bama throws out 98% NFL caliber players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the greatest coach of all time. It's hard for me not to say Bama.
Yeah, you figure he's gonna figure it out. I mean, with Georgia, since I feel bad for Cincy, but you know what? This is an opportunity again, just like they always come. First off, let's make sure we clarify on this. Every single goddamn semifinal game in these playoffs have been and have consistently been blowouts.
Yes.
No matter who the hell is there. So after this year, you can't blame Notre Dame, and two teams get run out in the semifinals because, of course, they paired up. They didn't want to give Georgia and Bama the first round together. When you see two teams get boat raced, now we're going to say we can't blame Notre Dame. It's just there are two superior teams every year that are just heads above everybody else. You're very rare you're going to get three teams that are that elite. And so, yeah, I think that I mean, Georgia could do it, but I think that Bama a second time, oh no.
I have a confession. As a Notre Dame fan, I really hope Michigan gets absolutely fucking rolled in the first round. Just so all the Michigan fans that give Notre Dame fans shit about how they get steamrolled every year, which they do, it was 100% deserving. It would just be nice to be on the other side of that. Anyways, Matt, we're going to
overrated. The Big Ten's overrated.
Time out. We're answering Matt's question now.
We got you, Matt. We got you.
Matt's question says, how realistic do you think Correa or Bryant really? Do you really think Hoyer makes a big statement, or is it Trevor Story? Trevor Story would be a pretty big statement, too.
I know. If we were talking about, like, literally a month ago. No. Forget about a month. If we were talking 2 weeks ago and you told, like, Heaven and me, hey, Cubs are going to end up with Marcus Stroman and Trevor Story as their two big moves, I'd be like, let's go. Yes.
I think any team would. I think any team would.
Huge moves. The Correa one, again, even with the Marcus Stroman, we do have to take a step back. And after thinking about it over a week, it still is a short-term deal. Like, it's not like they went out.
That's what I was trying to say on the show repeatedly.
Oh, I was trying to be optimistic, though. Come on. Let me dream. Let me dream for a week. Unless the only way that I think Korea can become realistic is if the Yankees really say, like, no, we don't want to do the long deal. The Tigers are already out. The Rangers are out already. And then you're down to, like, teams that aren't going to give him that, like, 10, 11, 12-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's like, well, fuck it, I'm 27, give me 5 years with an opt-out after 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the Cubs are like, cool, we'll give you a high AAV, I think that's the only situation where it becomes realistic for the Cubs. I just don't see them, like, going, yeah, we'll give you 10 years, $340 million. Okay?
So to answer, we can answer two questions in one. Just to be clear, although you think Correa ends up in the Bronx.
I still do. Like,
that was a question from earlier that we needed to get to as well.
I still think, like, the Yankees for years, it's been like the big position player, and they haven't done. Remember the Machado? Like, that seemed like it was going to be a sure thing, and, like, they were never really in on it. It seemed. I just think, like, but I was gonna say the Braves, but then like the whole Houston cheating thing, the fans, the players fucking hate him. Like I don't know.
That's goldfish memory style. Once he throws on those Yankee
cognitive dissonance, baby.
they're not going to give a shit.
No.
No, that's true. Because once
he
he signed, they're
cheat. Everybody.
I just in term right now, I'd put it like at a. I'm not gonna say it's 0%, but like 5% chance maybe.
I do think, and I think that again, I know someone brought up and although you wrote a story about it for Sports Mockery as well, the Chris Bryant possible coming back. And if you'll notice, guys, we've talked about this on the show a billion times. The Cubs, had they just said, "Hey, let's extend you before this trade deadline," and shot out a $24 million contract with a no trade clause and maybe an opt out midway through, they could have locked up KB for $24 million a year, easy. And they didn't. They traded him instead. So now we jump, and we talked about the hometown discount. That's canceled now because the hometown team sent him out of the home. So now there is an inconvenience fee that will be tacked onto this. And I think, I wish KB, I mean, I know KB would never do this, but I wish KB would be like, Jed, also part of the arrangement is you have to apologize for lying about never, about in public. You have to actually do a press conference and say, I apologize for lying about giving you a contract offer when you never did.
I think you have a better shot with Kate Beckinsale than
I think so too. I know. But Kate would never ask that, of course. I'm just vindictive as shit. But I think that now that it's jumped up to like 27, 28, he's not closing the door. He's going to go where the money is too. Let's be honest now. He has now been taught that loyalty means shit in this game. He became a pawn. Just like every other player is just a movement piece for these owners and the franchises. So he, if you're not loyal to him, why should he be loyal to you? And so give me the money. And if the Cubs pay a little bit and they give him that, again, the no trade clause is everything because he's not dealing with this shit ever again. And the money, the ball is in his court. So if the Cubs want to go there, he would love to come back. He hasn't sold the condo yet. Just saying.
So here's how I think about this situation. So out of those three names, Correa, Bryant, Story, which, by the way, I agree, Alex, put some fucking respect on Trevor Story's name. Out of those, he belongs with those two other names.
The splits.
Stop it.
No, if we talked about it with Nolan Arenado and
and look at what happened there.
Outside of Colorado,
he's fine, but
no, he's not. Outside of Colorado, he's not fine.
He was
overall. No. Don't get me wrong. If Trevor Story signs with the Cubs, I'd love it. He's fucking great defensively.
Right.
The hitting though, it scares me a little. I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's gonna be terrible.
Right.
But it's not a slam dunk.
It isn't. There's a question mark. But, so do you pay that much money on a question mark? Don't you pay that money on sure things?
Here's
my
deal.
That's why I would do with Korea.
Out of those three names, I'm gonna go ahead and this is my bold prediction, I guess, for the show. One of those three lands in Seattle. I don't know which one. One of those three lands in Seattle.
The interesting,
I agree.
So that scoop or like that little tidbit about not ruling out the Chris Bryant back with the Cubs from Robert Murray, and then he also talked about like the Mariners being in on him and like being interested in Trevor Story. But then he brought up how we think, and it was like it was a pretty shitty way that KB went through with the Cubs for the last couple of years. But then he brought up the point of like how Kyle Seager, who's also like spent his entire career with the Mariners, and just how shitty of an end he had. Mm-hmm. And like that was real bad terms with their team president, Jerry Dipoto. And he's like, Robert Murray said, I just don't see these guys if they talk to these other players like, hey, you think you were treated poorly somewhere else. But again, money talks.
Breaking news. Pretty much every owner and president of baseball is a dickhead.
That's not true, though. It's about how you treat people.
I mean, for the most
that could matter for some. Again,
I get it, but I guess to Matt's question, is one of those three lands with the Cubs? It's a possibility, for my opinion. Sure. This isn't like a hard no for me, but.
I think the most realistic out of the three would be Trevor Story.
Yeah, I would agree.
If it's Trevor Story, I'm ecstatic.
If you get any one of those three, as a Cubs fan, I'd be fucking juiced.
Yeah.
As a Sox fan, if they got one of those three, I'd be fucking doing cartwheels.
You got Larry Legend back. Stop.
It's a harder no for the White Sox than it is the Cubs. I put it that way. I mean, that's an easy one. And to answer Jack's quick question, it is a sweater, and I look fucking good.
Can I give a shout out to Lil Yumper real quick? I'm gonna bust his ass out on this. Somebody, I got a text today from a federal delivery service saying that I have a package on the way, and Yumper sent me a nice special package that I guess I don't want to say in the air what's in there. It's not drugs, don't worry. I think, but he's sending me something that Jimmy Vanicki would appreciate via the mail. So if you look, and so I appreciate that, Yumper. Thank you very much.
It rhymes with Balord.
Right, and we can't have it here. We don't have it anywhere on the West Coast. So thank you so much for that gift, dude. I really do appreciate it because that shit's going to show up on this podcast quite a bit. In fact, I'm going to put a bottle on my. It's going to end up on the trophy case because it'll be my first own home bottle of the Lord ever.
Yumper, speaking of the same, he said according to the Rangers insider story, would love to come to the Cubs. Oh yeah, remember that guy? Yeah, I remember he said that. Anyways, back to the questions here. They're starting to pile in, which is awesome. Paul Riker asks, how do the Cubs and the White Sox seasons look in 2020? I'm guessing he meant 2022. I don't know. He might have meant 2021. He put in 2021 if Rodon signs with the Cubs instead of the Sox. I mean, if we're talking about 2021, he played a very crucial role in the White Sox winning the division.
Maybe he does mean 2021.
It could, because it was an option, and it's still an option this year.
I mean, he would have been, in terms of talking about how he would have been with the Cubs, would have been 100 times better than Jake Arrieta. So we wouldn't have seen, the Cubs blow multiple, 7-run leads by the second inning or whatever it was, back-to-back times with him. Yeah.
I mean, Rodon was a vital piece to the White Sox success in 2021. I mean, he had the no-hitter, and he was a slump buster, a stopper, if you will. A couple times for them. I'm on the fence if I really want him back. Ideally, just because I like Carlos as a man, I hope he gets 3 years somewhere.
Yeah.
He needs that security blanket, dude. We don't know what's holding that arm on right now.
And that's the thing is too, when you won't Sox fans won't know to be pissed off or not at Rick Hahn until they see what Rodon signs for. Right. Because if he signs for $20 million, he was going to opt out anyway. You'll know he was going to opt out anyway. Mm-hmm. If he signs for $12 million, maybe Rick Hahn sees something in the physicals that he's just not willing to risk that much money on. And good for him if he sees something that's a red flag. You don't just throw money at something because the fans love it. The human body is a human body, whether fans see it or not. There's stuff going on inside. So I think that you won't know whether or not to be pissed off until and that's going to be when he signs. So I think you can almost reserve judgment there. But I wouldn't hate it if the Cubs got him. But if he's hurt and they overpay, then that would be stupid. But
he'd be a good 5 on the Cubs.
I think so. Hey,
Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon has A stuff. Obviously the biggest question is just can he hold up through an entire year, multiple years?
The Cubs have a 1 or 2.
If I'm the Cubs, I'd be like, hey, we'll pay you $22 million a year. We'll pay you more than the qualifying offer, but it's gonna be like a 2-1 or a 2. You have 2 years guaranteed, and then maybe a 3rd-year team option. Or a 1+1, a 1+2. But at this point, I don't know how you can feel comfortable being we're going to guarantee you 3 guaranteed years, and we expect you to stay healthy all 3 years.
I mean,
or you give the player the opt out in year 1. You give the player the opt out in year 1, the team the opt out in year 2, and then you ride that. If you're going to give
the option every year. That's fine. If he proves it, if he goes out there and he's like, hey, I fucking shoved again. Okay.
I have a theory, and someone asked about this. And we're going to get to this question, and it kind of ties it into it. But all right, going back to the chat here, this is the second time he's asked it, so let's make sure we answer it from very, very good friend of the show, Lil Yumper. He said, Zoe, can you please inform misguided Cubs fans on the potential of Nick Madrigal? Yes, I can. So we're talking about the potential. And to preface this, Nick had a rough start in Major League Baseball. He had a really good career in the minor leagues, won a Gold Glove. Things went pretty smoothly. Got called up to the big show, and you could tell it was extremely visibly noticeable that the speed jump from AAA to MLB was a little much for him. The base running errors, the fielding hiccups. It was a little much for him. Before he got hurt, like the last month before he got hurt, he finally had that moment that so many players talk about where the game finally slowed down for him. You can see it. He was playing with a lot more confidence. He was hitting fucking ropes. He hit a couple home runs, but he was hitting way more doubles and triples. So what I think the Cubs are getting in Nick Madrigal is hopefully what I thought he was going to be the entire time for the White Sox, which is a very solid fielder and a guy that is going to put the bat on the ball. He has elite bat-to-ball skills, doesn't strike out. I think when he got hurt, he was either top guy or top 3 guys with batting average with 2 strikes. Good contact hitter. When he's clicking, he can spray to all fields. For a while for the White Sox, he was a straight pull hitter, which was really weird for a while. But elite bat-to-ball skills, good defensive second baseman, even though if you ask White Sox Twitter, they'll tell you that he sucks in the field, but that's just not the case. He just, like I said, he hasn't even played a full 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played a full 162. So all these fucking Twitter GMs and Twitter scouts that have just completely labeled him a bust and that he sucks,
Tommy!
it's unbelievable. I mean, it's fine. You could do you, man, but you're foolish for doing that. I wouldn't even do that with players I don't like. Like, you got to let guys play at least a full season. I don't know if I'm breaking news or starting a harsh reality with everybody, but a lot of your favorite MLB players right now didn't just get it right away. Like, there's peaks and valleys during a rookie season, and he hasn't even had a full rookie season yet. So hopefully, like Nico, he can stay healthy this year. Hopefully now with the experience he's had at the MLB level, he can play up to that potential.
That's well said. I mean, you need guys like this in your organization, and I know that there is a contingent of Cub fans that think that if it's not Javi Baez at shortstop or at second base or whatever, it's somehow bust. You know what? Those guys can be consistent up the middle, and you can build at the corners and in the outfield, and you can build offenses around the kind of game that those dudes play. And if you can't see that, it's because you got your head so far up players like Javi Baez's ass that you can't understand that actual consistency up the middle is just as valuable as dudes that make the great plays and can't make the routine. So take it or leave it. Build third, build it first, build in the outfield, build behind the dish, god dang it. But if you got a middle that can make contact and play defense, and they will play defense, Madrigal is not a bad defensive player. He was very good in the minors as well. It was just when he came up to the show, he was adjusting. Trust me when they say this, you don't need to have a home run superstar at the middle every single time. You can have it anywhere else on the ball field. And I just think that Cubs fans they need to adjust to a new style of baseball, a winning style perhaps, that is not like what wasn't working for the Cubs over the last 5 years. And that might be more of a contact middle with more of a free swinging corner. I don't know, whatever, but it boggles my mind that they don't understand. I mean, you can look at Nick Madrigal and see that he does a lot of things that can help the Cubs. And it's the Javi thing. It's there'll never be something as pretty as that girl complex that they have right now.
You can forget about Javier Baez. He's already signed. If you're telling me right now, would you rather have Nick Madrigal or Trevor Story?
Sorry.
But that's what we're talking about though. Because who has been better at second base defensively? Nico Horner or Nick Madrigal? Nico Horner by a lot.
Sure,
it's not even close.
So far,
these are the types of discussions that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the question on the table was what kind of player are you going to get with Nick?
But I'm just saying,
consistent.
Talking about other guys, Baez, forget about Baez. It's just who's available now. If it's Carlos Correa and you can have 2 fucking studs up the middle, you don't think about it. Of course. I'm sorry, Nick Madrigal.
But let's be honest here.
Madrigal sent him to Oakland. He can hit 350 with the A's. Give me Matt Chapman. Give me Matt Olson. Give me one of their pitchers. Have a time. Win 3 batting titles, Nick Madrigal.
If you could suspend disbelief for a second to actually believe that the Ricketts family will approve signing both of those guys or even one of those guys, enjoy it. I just think that's a fantasy. I think the Cubs are going to roll into 2022 with Madrigal and Horner up the middle.
Hypotheticals that we're having. Oh, no, that's the thing. Nick Madrigal. Zoe's right. Dude's pesky as hell. Hate him. If you're on the other team, if you're watching a game and wherever he bats, you're like, oh, easy out coming. And then like 12 pitches later, it's like still a 3-2 count, and he's still like fouling balls away. Nick Magic was like one of the most annoying hitters. Like I think I said it last year before he got hurt. Just so annoying up there. Because it's like, oh, like you can just blow 99 past him. He'll like get a fucking piece, and then you have to throw like 2 more pitches, 3 more pitches, and even if he gets an out, you just went from like a 10-pitch inning to a 20-pitch inning, and you're like, fuck, that cost me an inning.
And don't underestimate how valuable that is, not just to annoy the pitcher, but how valuable that is to the guy on deck and the guy in the hole. You get to see everything that pitcher has in their arsenal before you step into the box, because the guy ahead of you is fighting off pitches, seeing everything, and allowing you, while maybe being, wearing your sins on him, right? He takes one for the team a little bit and goes up there and has to battle, might not have success, but you can have positive at-bats that actually benefit everybody behind you. Those are things that I think that the great hitters in the game do, is those guys that are up there that swing away, you don't get to see shit. Guys that see pitches help everybody else. Guys that just swing at shit just because it's anywhere near them, those guys they're not helping anybody else. They're just doing it for themselves at that point. They're not helping. And being able to see pitches is so important, not just for the guy in the box to frustrate, but to the guys that are actually waiting to go up and doing their routine and going through their process as they're in the on-deck circle. And again, I always like, we'll say this, you guys watching a baseball game, once in a while, isolate on the guy in the on-deck circle from the minute he steps out of the batter's box or out of the dugout. Better yet, try and key it on the dude that's in the hole. Watch how those guys go through their process as they're preparing for their at-bat. There is a whole process from being in the hole to being on deck. There's even a process for being beyond in the hole, being fourth up. You're with your hitting coach, maybe talking and watching a little bit and just kind of getting yourself loose. These guys have these routines. Watch those routines because it's really fun to watch. You get to see Hunter Pence had one of my favorites, but you can watch these guys and see how they're preparing themselves mentally because, again, by the time they step in the box, those guys have had 15, 20 at-bats already in their head. And that's what makes an elite athlete elite, is because of that mental focus and that laser ideal that they just get in there and they're ready to go because they visualized a ton before they even get a chance. And that helps when you have a guy in front of you making sure that you see everything. So you know that there's a change up in the bucket. You know that might be that's a cutter. I didn't know he was throwing that way. He was throwing that well today. Might keep an eye on that.
Or even on the flip side, you got a guy that you could put in the 9 hole that can flip your lineup.
Yep. Turn it over.
Next question on Twitter. Where'd it go? Here we go. This comes from Wayne at RichWP01. Should MLB have a December 15th deadline for contracts longer than 2 years, including options, and close free agency until after the Super Bowl? Any contracts could only be 1 year or 1 year plus. So basically what I'm getting from that question is Wayne liked the blitz of free agent signings.
It was pretty awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I think that's got to open up MLB's eyes to a little something. I mean, Twitter was all baseball for 2 days.
Unfortunately, though, I think it was just the unique situation that the CBA was expiring.
Yep.
Like, I think if it's normal, like if the CBA is like they still have a couple more years on it, I think we have the same stuff from other years.
Yeah, and this is the thing is, and you can't say let's do this every year. Let's change it to free agency so that we force this kind of like system, because you know what happens? The security for players against the owners is gone, because you sign an 8-year deal and you get hurt, you're still protected. And it sounds bad, but you do the 1 year or the 2 years and you cap it every 2 years, they can just throw you away like tissue. And that's unfortunate. It's not fair that they should have that much power over all of that. If you're willing to, again, I like the libertarianism of baseball. The luxury tax, fine. It is kind of a salary cap, but not really for teams that actually give a shit. So I like the idea that baseball's like, you know what, if you want to spend $1 billion, spend $1 billion, whatever, do it. And it doesn't necessarily mean wins. Not recently. Look at the Dodgers. So we'll see what the Mets do. The Mets are like, they just spent like $500 million. They just committed $500 million. Better win.
Is this true from Beefloaf?
Yep. He didn't see a lot of pitches, man.
Take it back then. Trade Dick Magical right now.
No,
that's the only value I see in him.
He didn't see a lot of pitches, but he didn't strike out.
Dude, the fucking Oakland right
now. Beef's absolutely right. I was going to kind of let it fly, but he's absolutely right. He would just go up to the plate, go 0-2, and then hit the ball.
All right, never mind.
He wasn't working. He wasn't working deep into counts. If you look up his baseball,
you know what I thought? I got the whole like 2-strike average stuck. I was like, oh, that must mean like he was working deeper counts.
No. He
goes
goes up to the plate. he would go up to the plate, it'd be go strike, single.
But again,
Yeah.
player evolution. He is starting to see that just putting the ball in play isn't enough. He's going to have to learn to see pitches. I've said this a long time. I believe the kid has the capability. If he has people in his ear telling him and constantly harping on this, and I don't think the White Sox had anybody harping on it, and I think the Cubs might, if that kid can learn a little bit more patience, because he's a little guy. It's hard to throw strikes to a little guy like that in the first place. So if he doesn't expand his zone, he could be up there. He could work some counts and take some more deeps, but he's got to have somebody in his ear constantly telling him and reminding him, dude, you need to see a little bit more. You're not a 3 outcome guy. You need to start working counts. And I believe, me personally, I believe this last year. I said this last year, and I kind of got made fun of by a couple guys. I believe that he could be that guy. I believe that he could be a guy that gets on base 400%, at a 400 clip, 400 times out of 1,000, whatever. I think he could be that guy. But nobody's in his ear saying, hey, Nicky Matt, look, sit back, be a little bit more patient with 2 strikes. Maybe learn to foul a ball off as opposed to just putting it in play. And that's a big deal, is offsiding as opposed to just simply just hitting a weak ground ball second, which putting the ball in play is putting the ball in play, right? But
so what was the other thing you said? Do you say he pulls the ball like too much or a lot or mostly?
He did.
Pulls outside.
He had like a streak where
I am getting awful flashbacks to Albert Almora Jr. right now, and I hate
it. No, it's not. I don't think it'll be to that degree. I hope not for your sake, but
I hope not too.
All right,
but you are describing Albert, because exactly what Kevin said is what the Cubs themselves, they told Albert Jr. every fucking offseason, you can't be swinging at every pitch because you're just pulling off the ball. Be patient. And again, just because it happened with him doesn't mean it's like
I know. Madrigal was
said that to a lot of players in the Cubs.
Exactly, a lot of them. But that's the thing. Albert Almora Jr. was supposed to be the contact, the high average guy.
Already annoyed that we just took 15 minutes to talk about Nick Madrigal again.
True story.
I'm so sick of this shit. But
true story.
It was only for like a month, although, and then once he
he only played 2 months though.
He started.
It's half the year.
But he started spraying more fields. I'll pull up his spray chart. I don't have my normal monitor set up.
Look, Nick Madrigal's
already getting super fucking annoying.
Nick Madrigal's on pace for 162 home runs this season when I'm in attendance.
Jesus Christ. He's not even on my team anymore. I'm done defending.
I can't wait. Trust me, I can't wait for Nick Madrigal.
I hope he fucking sucks. Deal with it then. He's not my problem anymore.
Will you pass me the mantle? I'm trying to reach into your screen.
If he does suck, I'm going to play you zone. You every day. Every
I'll defend him.
Nope, not my problem anymore.
I'll just take him and Nico. It'll be Nico Madrigal.
I mean, the first thing for those two guys, they stay healthy for a year.
Not my problem anymore because I got sick of it.
For one season.
I got fucking shit on if the kid fucking sneezed weird, and then when he had a fucking unreal month, everybody disappeared and no one wanted to have a conversation about it. And now all of a sudden he's Albert Almora Jr. So fuck this. I'm done talking about Nick Madrigal. Fuck it.
You described Albert Almora, you and Beefloaf.
Next,
you guys combined your analysis combined to describe.
Beefloaf is absolutely correct because that's a hard statistical. I mean, if you look, he literally would walk up to the plate, go 0-2, and then get a hit or put the ball in play. He pulled it for like a couple weeks. Maybe a month was a bad timeline, but fuck.
No, I still love it, though. He's expectations. He's going to be a 300 hitter.
Hey, how about this?
It takes a lot to get me to this point, but I'm fucking.
Play solid defense. He'll be a lot better than Albert
Sign off this shit.
Just no expectations.
Done with this shit.
Just no expectations. Hey, look, don't let the pressure outweigh the pleasure. Just enjoy the ride.
I mean, Beefloaf brought up earlier.
He can't get on a ride. He's not tall enough. But
if Nick Madrigal gets the Cubs a 3-WAR season, I'll be happy with that. 3-WAR. There's not a lot of 3-WAR players that are just consistent. I'll take a 3-WAR player.
Yachty's only a 1.8 WAR player. So.
This is fucking. I'm never hitching myself to another player ever again.
Too late. Andrew Vaughn's your boy.
Did you?
It's fucking annoying shit.
Andrew Vaughn's season.
Holy fuck. Never again.
Just playing devil's advocate here.
Never fucking again.
I'm just setting my expectations.
You guys pick a fucking question.
I'm just like.
You fucking pick a question. It's so fucking annoying. The DMs,
look at his stats.
the fucking messages,
read his stats.
Everything.
What did he hit last year? He hit like 330, didn't he?
I don't even care. Pick the next question.
What did you do?
All right, let's see. We got another Mary Fuck Kill now.
We can't have too many of those. You know, that one was actually that was Ricketts, Jed, and what was the other one?
Javi Baez.
Oh yeah, so that was actually remember Forrest Gump's direct descendant? That one had just been spelled out with 3 identical letters that I don't want to really spell out. And no, never mind.
What here from Bennett Carroll at the Bennett Carroll? Shout out Bennett. What is the one movie you'd add Nicolas Cage to?
Oh, I watched Pig last night, by the way, which is a great movie. Actually, if you're like truffles and chefs and John Wick. Sorry. Revenge truffle flick.
Movie would add Nicolas Cage to?
I would add Nicolas Cage to The Natural as Bump Bailey. A cigar in my back pocket. Oh, I'm Castillo Troy.
So, Nick Cage?
What
movie would you add him to? What a random ass question.
No, I mean, Nicolas Cage could really.
I mean, the man has range.
Really fit him in a tight.
I think I want him in like a Guy Ritchie movie. I think that'd be interesting, like a Snatch.
Memento? Is that Guy Ritchie?
Or like a Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, or some shit like that.
No, Guy Ritchie's not Guy Ritchie. That's Chris Nolan is Memento.
Yeah,
you're thinking of Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is the actor. Guy Pearce.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie has that. It's like the Snatch and the
Gentleman,
Lock, Stock, and Smoke. Yeah, and the Gentleman. Basically, to see him, I think he could be like he'd be a bad guy in the Gentleman. I think that'd be good.
Like Nicolas Cage in a Tarantino movie? I don't know.
He's gonna probably end up in one eventually. But you guys, this movie Pig was the best thing I've seen from Nicolas Cage that wasn't like really like weird. Like
what's it called?
It's called Pig. He's a former chef that basically his wife dies and he isolates in a cabin and finds the best truffles for like the San Francisco community, I think it is. And his pig is like helps him with the truffles or whatever. It's like a prize pig, and someone basically beats the shit out of him and takes the pig. So it's basically like John Wick, but he's chasing his pig. But it's like really good. Like it actually is really like it's not over the top. Actually, Nicolas Cage, his dialogue is more like
he's not an Expendable?
He would fit in Expendable. Yeah.
I thought he was in that movie. I thought everybody was. If you were over 60 and you had like a
if you were popular in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, you're in that movie. I'm not even fucking around. I thought
he's too busy getting drunk at Lowry's here with Vince Neil. So,
but I mean, the man has range.
Nicolas Cage in a rom-com? That'd be fun.
Man, he's better when he doesn't talk as much, because at this point, like that's what made Leaving Las Vegas so good is he really didn't talk that much. He just drank a lot, and then Elizabeth Shue talked.
My favorite Nick Cage movie is what's the one when he Con Air.
Well, why could you put the bunny back into the box?
Why could you put the bunny back into the
My
box?
favorite Nicolas Cage
I'm
movie.
a bird. That was my first bootleg movie I only watched in college. Was that
Gone
movie.
in 60 Seconds. I thought that was the coolest shit ever.
Back in the day, yes, I definitely had that DVD.
The Rock was fantastic. Like The Rock, like set off like the Jerry Bruckheimer like explosions, Michael Bay, like era. Like that was awesome too with Sean Connery.
So you know how like when people say they get Shawshanked, like when Shawshank is on, you can't turn it off. If Con Air comes on TNT, which it's on every other day, I don't turn it off.
100%. Same thing.
It's fucking Steve Buscemi's unreal.
Raising Arizona's good. Face Off. Again, Castor Troy.
The fucking concept of Face Off. I could never get past that.
I mean, I never watched Face Off, but I remember watching a video on it and just like the entire basically like a review of it and just the concept of the movie, and I'm like, what?
Isn't it John Woo? Man, it's just a good action flick about duality. I mean, hey, look, you guys go watch the fucking Marvel movies. Okay, Scarlet Witch is not real. I hate to break the news to you.
What kind of 80s shit is this?
Yeah. So here, I know, and I appreciate him doing this, but Beef brought it back up, his bagline. To explain myself, the reason I'm frustrated is because I feel like I know a lot about baseball and a lot about this game, and I've literally repeated that same synopsis about Nick Madrigal 60 to 70 fucking times right now without even exaggerating, and it's fucking annoying. I get random DMs from people I don't know. It's in that like other section of your DMs that you have to like accept that are just like, fuck you, Madrigal sucks. And I'm like, I'm not like his manager.
Oh, geez.
I don't get this shit. And the shit's just fucking annoying. It just came to a boil. And
there he is.
Yeah. So
there he is.
That was that. So sorry about that for a minute there, but fucking, yeah, I'm fucking done with that shit.
Oh, you know what? Mailman Jack actually has the best Nick Cage movie.
They should do a face-off of Nick Cage as Madrigal.
Yeah, Nick Madrigal. face off with legs, but how would you have the legs would be a problem?
So here's an actual baseball question that I think this is actually pretty good. From Wayne again. Did Hahn overpay in his Kimball? Oh, fuck, this brings magic.
Yeah, you said it was a good
You
question.
can't hide from it.
It was the second part of the question I was looking at, but
Everything
Hahn-
just goes back to Nick Madrigal.
did Hahn
It's
overplay?
like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, except now it's just 7 questions of Nick Madrigal.
Did Hahn overplay his Kimbrel trade hand and miss out on Philly, or are they taking up what's his name? Knievel?
Evil Knievel, yes.
ROCK. The K is silent. To lower the price on Kimbrel. So basically, do you think the Phillies are still interested in another reliever?
Yes.
Yes.
They
Their
have. I mean,
bullpen-
they sound like one guy who, he's been good, but it's just one guy. Their bullpen was awful. They're gonna need more than just one guy.
It's not like they traded their farm for Josh Hader. Like,
Right.
they didn't.
Like if that happens, it's like, yeah, it's probably kind of tough to see them then going after Kimbrel. But
Right.
at this point, they haven't done that. So
Right. Yeah. So
that's still very much in the realm of possibility for the Sox to do.
no, I think definitely Dombrowski is not exactly the most stable-minded individual either. Their bullpen was fucking shit. But yeah. Dude, I know you've been asking baseball questions, but we got a lot of questions to get to, and you've pumped in about 15 questions into the chat, which I appreciate. But what's the deal with the Rangers? Good,
Give him a
bad,
break. He just had a magical meltdown.
good, bad, or contenders or not? I said it. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? I think the Rangers are going to be okay in 2022, but I think they're setting themselves up nicely for a good run after 2022. They're following a very good rebuild blueprint right now.
They're going to be the Angels, what the Angels have been. Like they'll be like around 80 wins maybe, but unless they have stable starting pitching, they just aren't going to be able to hold up. Unless they do have a couple of surprises, but I don't think they have like any big guys coming up from their minor league system. So like they need to rely on either trades to get starting pitchers or more free agents. I know they got John Gray, but they're gonna need a lot more than that. So
yeah, no, I agree. And then here, go ahead.
Is that a dart in your mouth? I'm trying to figure out what that is. You look like you
No.
ate like one of the honkers from the Muppets.
It's actually a Tylenol syringe that you give to little kids. I've just been playing with it.
It's not the suppository, right? That's still not other shit.
No, Yellow's mouth, I
Oh.
think. Anyways, good question here from friend of the show, Beef Loaf. This is what I was alluding to earlier about everything kind of tying together. He said, we had this question the other night on the From the 108 podcast, which you all should go watch on YouTube and subscribe to their channel, because not only are those guys bring it every week, but K-Fids' co-host from Tainted Glove, Mr. Ham, was on the show. It was a great show. But the question was, what does the pre-lockout offseason action signal to you three gentlemen? Meaning the Mets, the Tigers, and the Rangers being big buyers, the Cubs and the Mariners and the Jays, etc., more minor buyers with a very minimal trade market. So basically, what did that little blitz of action right before the lockout, did that signify anything to you as to where things are going to go?
I mean, I think player-wise, it was obviously great for them because they got the, for once in like a while. I know guys have obviously gotten big contracts over the last few years, but like they were able to use that deadline to be like, hey, we're not going to wait around. We have 3 deals. Can you match them? I'm taking it by December 1.
Right.
So great for them. As far as the Cubs, like the whole pitching market, because the pitching market was the first that just like was going crazy. Guys were signing right away. And the Cubs being one of the teams that needed starting pitching help a lot, they needed to just they couldn't. I think we talked about it a little last week how these teams needed to jump on early, because if you didn't, you're gonna come out the other end of the lockout, and then you're gonna have like the pool of talent just drops, and then you still have to spend on these guys. And it's like, well, fuck. Now we have to, you're gonna have to give out the like another Avisel Garcia deal to like a guy that isn't worth it, probably.
Which Avisel Garcia got,
which Avisel Garcia got it.
Yeah, he got a crazy ass deal.
But yeah, I mean, I think another point was like maybe some of these teams do expect a salary floor coming, and it's like, hey, we're gonna have to spend it anyway. Why not just get the players now?
Bingo. That's what I was gonna say. I think MLB ownership and teams were kind of showing their hand that a floor is coming, which if a floor does come, it's great for guys like Carlos Rodon because he might get those 3 years guaranteed. Then if there's a floor, the fucking Diamondbacks might be like, well, fuck, dude. Yeah, we got to hit this. Come on in. They need pitching anyways. But I think a floor is coming. I mean, you can't put a lot of stock into what Rick Hahn says in press conferences because, he does the lawyer talk. He does all that fancy talking. But he did mention specifically that with this blitz of free agency happening, with people wanting to get this guaranteed money on the books before a lockout happened and things change, there wasn't really a trade market at all. Like, guys weren't even taking those calls. Like, they're like, I'm fucking busy. I don't want to talk about trading, who would the White Sox? White Sox farm so shitty. I can't even think of a fucking name right now.
I mean, the big name is just because they're going to trade Kimbrel. That's like,
right.
Seems like
they wouldn't even take the calls for Kimbrel, or like, I'm sure they had a conversation with Dombrowski. Like, that'd be stupid not to. I'm sure they talked to a couple other teams that need a closer. But,
Dodgers probably.
Yeah. I said Rick Hand, not Home. Hand. If you're gonna fucking make fun of me, get it right, dickhead. But yeah,
pot, though.
Everybody lay off Zoe.
It's a honey
fine.
pot.
I can take it. I'm good. I hit my point when it came to that one topic, and I'm good.
Hey, Nick Madrigal, he's projected to have a 2-WAR season in 2022. I'll take that.
He's gonna hit 60 home runs.
The honey pot is on, though. We know that. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I feel like we've been told nothing with these signings other than to expect a long, hard, dirty fight because I think they just sweetened the pot. And now I'm not entirely sure that this was a sign from the owners. The players, good on them for just taking the deals, like Aldo said. But.
And Kevin, I think you were right too about the points that you were making up. And we already saw it with like the fucking letter that Rob Manfred had after the lockout about like, hey, we've spent look at all the money that teams have spent so far. It's like, so that was definitely like a, hey,
is he the worst commissioner?
Whatever $1 billion we're spending.
Yeah,
agree to our shitty deal.
The worst. He's seriously the worst.
Kind of like what Fitz said about KB saying, I'll come back to the Cubs if you publicly apologize. Players should say, like, we won't play until Manfred is put in a rocket ship to fucking Saturn.
Open the books. Open the books.
He needs to be gone. He is just, God, he fucking sucks.
The fact that they won't open the books, the only team that you can actually see their financials are the Atlanta Braves because they're like public. They're like a publicly open company or whatever. Everybody else, you have no idea. The Pirates could be like worth like, and they could have billions, and for all we know, we don't know. They won't open the books.
And what I've been saying for years, and like we've been arguing it ever since the 18-19 off season. All the fucking projects that the Ricketts have done around Wrigley Field, everything they've bought up, guys, yeah, it costs money to do all that. But guess what? They're gonna be making a shit ton of money too. And guess what? That is not open. That's not part of their baseball revenue. But they're still making that money.
That's when people keep bringing it up. Like they built a whole new thing that has nothing to do with the actual operations of the Chicago Cubs LLC or whatever it is. That's the funny part. That's a real estate deal that the Ricketts family has orchestrated with the whatever. Look at who's behind, like who signed the check. That's a great point because people think, oh man, they're worth, the Cubs are worth $4.6 billion at this point, and you're gonna say, oh well, but look at all they did around Wrigley. You know what? Wait till they sell this team in 5 years. because Papa Ricketts calls in his markers, and they sell this team for like $8 billion or something. Because
and they keep the real estate.
Right. Or they create some sort of deal where it's a residual. Yeah. Because Papa Ricketts, when he sold TD Ameritrade, look at the numbers for that deal. And that's what the Cubs will eventually be for them too. When Papa Ricketts wants it, when he says, all right, kids, I want my money back now, dumbasses. I'm ready to go swimming in it or whatever.
Scrooge McDuck style.
If they got to do what he's got to do. He's actually the Cubs owner. I mean, he owns the Cubs. The kids just run it. And so I think Pete Aloha, Mr. Hannes talked about it a bunch too. Like the markers are going to be called in sooner than later. And I think that in 5 years, Cubs and the White Sox could have new ownership, both at some point in the next decade at least. So it sucks. I think the owners have dug in, but I think the honeypot's on, and I think with the Cubs, I think we'll see. Like I'll believe it when I believe it. Jed has already lied for his boss once. That means he'll lie for his boss again.
And then the last one on Twitter, Fids, would you become a White Sox fan if KB, Rizzo, or Schwarber signed with the Sox?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a White Sox fan right now. I'm just not a White Sox fan over the Cubs. And that would never happen. No offense. I love White Sox Twitter, and I'm beyond the I hate the White Sox. I love when they win. I'm happy they win. I'm rooting for them. So call me. You want to call me a White Sox fan? I am a White Sox fan. I am. It's like me and the Raiders. I'm a Bears fan first, and then I love the Las Vegas Raiders because they're the Las Vegas Raiders. They're here. Now the White Sox, you probably will take a third seat if the Las Vegas Athletics happen. But right now, it's Cubs and the Sox. It's 1-2 now for me. You guys have drawn me in. It's your fault. I blame you all. But my second favorite team is the White Sox. I have no problem. I wear this to school. Okay, well, I have kids that know that they know what that logo right there means. They understand it. They understand what the White Sox. So that's fine by me. But if they signed them, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be good things. And I think White Sox fans deserve to have a really cool dudes on their team because they have some really cool dudes on their team. So I'd be happy for that. Maybe I'm old. I mean, I am old. There's not a baby on that one, but maybe it's just age. I've kind of gotten over that whole I hate the White Sox thing. It's just
what is the new
tired.
I can tell you right now, Rizzo will never happen.
It's folly for the young.
We have like 6 Rizzos already.
You got to replace Abreu eventually
with Vaughn or Sheets or
you're trading them both for somebody
or a million other names. KB would be very welcomed. Schwarber
hasn't sold his condo yet.
Would he?
Yeah, why not?
Well, will Jerry pay?
Jerry's like, talk about that. I mean,
I'm just saying.
How about $14?
We want to talk about meatball fans, and like obviously we saw what Cubs fans did to Chris Bryant. Let's not pretend like Sox fans are going to be like, we're eating this fucking scrub.
Chris Bryant would be a fantastic fit. Anyone with a fucking brain in their head that's a White Sox fan.
It would take White Sox fans at least 2 or 3 years to like take him for granted.
Chris Bryant would be a fit on every single team.
Every team. I mean, come on.
In like multiple positions.
Yeah, he would be
So Kevin brought up, Sox being his number 2 team in baseball, talking about the Raiders obviously living in Vegas, but Bears are his number 1. In any other sport, do you have like that number 2 team that you do like, you root for besides like a Chicago team or no?
I usually go year by year with that. I've done it since I was a kid.
Braves, right? Braves.
I've always liked I grew up in the 90s, and the 90s Braves were a fucking absolute unit. So I always liked the Braves because, of course, they were in the National League, so it was no harm to the White Sox. But usually I pick a second team almost every year in sports, and a lot of that comes with being an avid hat collector. Like I'll be like, oh, I'll just start rocking this hat, and then it's weird. Like if I start wearing a team's hat a lot, I'll start paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that really ever came from. I've always kind of liked the Brewers too. I don't know what that's all about, but I think I just like their logo. I think I just like their logo, their colors. And I've always had a good time at that park. Yeah,
maybe like Notre Dame football 1, Michigan football 2.
No, it's Notre Dame football 1, Florida football 2.
Florida.
I went to school there. Yeah.
I thought you went to Florida State.
Oh, fuck Florida State.
Oh, it was Florida? Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big old fuck Florida State. I'd rather root for Miami, which is, as Kevin would say, over Florida State.
Maybe you go with this one.
I'd be down.
look at that. That's so
They-
crazy.
Vegas,
Dude,
that's
the
right.
A's have
Wait,
such clean uniforms with that green and gold. The
Oh.
classic, the A's throwbacks are unreal. But
That green and gold is good.
you know what I
That's
was thinking? Do they have a
Look, you see the
gold
dice? You see the
uniform?
dice? Look at the dice down there too. Down at the bottom here.
oh, nice.
There's a little dice right here. I like that.
Um,
This is a dude that designs like is a
yeah, see,
graphic
they got a gold
Yes,
uniform.
there,
Those are
yes.
sick.
They wore those back in the day, although they have a gold
Yes.
jersey.
Mhm.
I mean, they got to bring those back. I don't think because they don't
Those
wear
are
those
sick.
anymore.
The dice, that's pretty cool. It looks like fuzzy dice hanging on a rearview mirror.
Oh, the high socks too. Oh, gimme. And the white cleats. Oh, forget about it.
Oh
Well,
no, the white.
Some of you wear class A. These are football cleats, buddy.
The
Mhm.
Oakland A's when they wear the fucking white.
Look at that hat
Clean.
with the dice.
What's better? Like looking at 1970s baseball uniforms or like 1990s NBA
Oh,
uniforms?
70s uniforms. Give me all day. Give me the Houston Astros from the 70s.
There's
I don't
something
know, man.
nostalgic about the 90s, like the big logo.
The
uniform.
Raptors, the
Yes,
Grizzlies
the
had a
Raptors,
sick phone line.
Grizzlies.
The
Hornets.
the Pistons wore that teal with the fucking like
Yes.
mufflers as the
Yeah.
underscript. The Hornets were sick. There was a lot of
That was my team B. Like again, like you always choose this. When I was in the 90s, when I was in high school, that was my team B because of Larry Johnson.
yeah,
Alonzo.
I remember was making out with Heather Graham at her house when Alonzo Mourning hit that shot. What up, Heather Graham? Sorry about that. You guys walked
1970.
in.
We've got Bush. But the
How about a movie
70s,
that wouldn't fly today?
yeah, oh Jesus.
They're all going to prison.
The 70s baseball uniforms though were sick, dude.
They were the Houston with the or that was that 80s or 70s?
I think that was 80s.
80s. Actually, I'll say this: my favorite uniform in the entire in baseball history is the Philadelphia Phillies Saturday night specials.
Are those
The blue.
the powder blues?
Hold on, here we go.
You can't go wrong with powder blue. Cubs need to bring
No.
that look back.
These.
Oh,
These.
the maroon color ones.
See, I like those, but I
Those.
like those in when they had the powder blue.
Oh man, those are just.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do powdered
These.
blue wrong in sports, I think.
The Brewers had some sick uniforms. The Expos, obviously, that's a classic. The Astros had some good ones. I like the 90s Marlins with the teal. That was pretty I like that a lot. But obviously my favorite baseball uniform of all time is the White Sox Batterman, the one they wear on Sundays. To me, that's
Not their softball shorts?
not the softball
Ooh,
shorts.
those are sweet though too.
No, the ones they wear on Sunday, the Batterman. Actually, the White Sox had the baby blue unis too. I would love to see them rock those.
That's
for
right,
a
they
game.
did. The
Yeah,
White
these,
Sox have
yes.
always had their
100%
uniforms.
these. 100% these are the best uniforms ever.
I love those. I
Yes,
call them,
100%.
those are the Batterman ones. But while you're on this page, Google the White Sox baby blue uniforms or whatever.
Let's see what's in that search history.
Yeah. No. Yeah, those uniforms. The one that Cease has on right there. Yeah,
Your boy, look at that, dude.
those are sick. Cease is going to be nice in 2022.
I love those right
But
there.
I can't say that because I'm not attaching myself to players anymore.
The red helmeted White Sox. The red helmeted White Sox.
Yeah, those are sick. Those are. I always think of Dick Allen.
Oh, speaking of Dick Allen, not in the Hall of Fame. What the hell?
But you know who is?
Minnie Minogue.
Minoso. And we should have definitely brought that up at the beginning of the
Shout
show.
out Minnie.
That's fucking awesome.
I still do think it's bullshit. Like they fucking wait until these guys like passed away,
yeah,
Yeah.
I
and
agree.
it's like okay.
Yeah, I mean, his
Thanks
son
a
even
lot.
said it. Like, I'm sure my dad would have really appreciated this if he was fucking alive to see it. But, I mean, Minnie Minoso, I'm just happy he's there.
Kevin, look at the Cubs powder blue. Oh, there we go. They have
love
some powder
blue.
blue ones too.
Mhm.
Yes. Powder blue uniforms. Oh yeah, these beauties. Oh baby, I love these. These are
Yep.
I'm a fan.
Those are decent. I love.
Like pinstripes. I like. Everyone loves these because of the Wrigleyville name. Everyone's a big fan of that. White Sox fans especially love Wrigleyville.
The Rangers got sick baby blues. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays have sick baby blues.
I mean, no,
too.
I'm
The one
telling you, you cannot in any sport you can't go wrong with powder blue,
Dude,
like baby blue, powder blue.
Creams. The creams from the Giants. The cream uniforms. These.
Huh?
The cream. The
Oh.
the San Francisco Giants. Cream.
That's
uniform.
that's just like an old school
Too
classic.
boring for me.
Yeah, that's
I
just
love,
like.
I love
But
the
that,
cream color.
I mean, that's classic cool, but like the old Tampa Bay when they were the Devil Rays,
Devil
it says
Rays.
Rays and it has like a half a sun going over the like R and Rays. Those are dope uniforms too.
These are pretty
But
cool.
I really like I said, I like the Marlins, the '90s teal. Pretty much any of the Devil Rays uniforms were sick, dude. Tampa Bay, they fucked up when they changed that shit. I get why they had to do it
The
because people
Rays.
are nuts, but yeah. Worst ones? Oh my! Remember those?
Yes. Oh
yeah,
no! When did
one.
that happen?
I
Although
do need this Bill Madlock hat though. By the way,
No, go one underneath that picture with Johnny Damon.
look at
'Cause
that
it
one.
goes with the first picture.
Look at the Iron Pigs. The Iron Pigs with a tuxedo T-shirt. I can
Yeah,
dig.
minor league doesn't count. But go
It's
to
not
Johnny
ugly at all, by the way.
Go
That's
to
gorgeous.
Johnny.
Those are our Bonanza uniforms right there.
Go
by
to
the way.
Johnny Damon all the way in the bottom, one row down.
Oh,
All the way, yeah. So although you don't remember this, dude. This is when the Major League Baseball had like a futuristic night.
What the
And
hell?
so
I don't remember.
these teams wore these jerseys that they were supposed to be wearing, like what they thought would be in the future. That Pirates one in the first picture was one of them. This Johnny
Really?
Damon's
What
Royals
year
one,
was this?
and then
Sorry.
go to the top right corner there. That's Ken Griffey Jr. in the Mariners one. The Mariners one was actually kind of dope. Fitz, go up to the top right corner.
Oh, I'm in the wrong. Sorry. Top left corner.
That's the Reds, right?
Top right corner.
Oh yeah, the sleeve. Oh
no,
god,
that's the Mariners,
Oh, that's
dude.
Mariners?
it's Mariners. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got the
Oh,
comp.
I see it
That's
now.
D. Gordon, dude. But yeah, Griffey actually pulled it off. Those were kind of fucking clean. But that was like the MLB did it. Like it was like one night. It was like future night or something.
Do you guys remember this Orioles uniform? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
That's the one that says "fuck you" or "fuck face." Yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think
By the
those
way, if
Pirates
you've seen the
hats
movie-
are ugly.
If you're from Chicago, make sure you see the movie 8-Bit Christmas. Especially if you're like a kid that wanted a Nintendo back when you were a kid, it's based in Batavia, and yes, it makes a lot of Jules jokes and a lot of anti-Packer jokes. And
The who else? Who had the sick baby blue in that picture? The group picture with Uncle McCutcheon in the second row. Those are the Rays jerseys I was talking about. The one that Langora has on right there.
these are bad. These were bad. These Indians ones with that font.
Those sucked. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Diamondbacks had pretty clean uniforms too.
Yes. No, I'm telling you, like
Crapzilla.
90s with the big giant logos. That just looks cool. I don't know.
Look
Maybe
at
that's
these
just nostalgia,
Crabzilla.
but it looks cool.
Look at Crabzilla. They got eyeballs on their butt cheeks.
You can't count minor leagues, dude. There's some wild.
Is that
shit
minor leagues? It's
Yeah.
MLB.com. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
about
that's minor leagues. But there's
These,
Johnny Damon wearing that
ASU.
Royals. That Royals uniform was hideous.
Yes,
pretty
that
sick.
one.
Bright mustard
These are ugly.
yellow.
I'm really pretty sure
I
the
actually don't
Diamondbacks
mind
haven't had a
those.
cool uniform. I don't think the Diamondbacks have had a really cool uniform ever. To me,
Stop it. The Diamondbacks.
No, the
These are the
black
Cubs unis.
jerseys.
These are the
Black
Cubs unis I
jerseys
like.
with the. I like their 90s.
I dig
Diamondbacks.
these Cubs uniforms right here, with
Early
especially even
2000s.
without the C on the hat too, just a blank hat. I love it.
Nah, I need something on my hat.
And the high
Yeah.
sock.
I can't do black
Too
hats.
plain for
Look at
me.
these Rockies uniforms. Oh,
That was the futuristic.
Larry
night. Those are
Walker.
all-
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, those are bad.
Dude, that night was brutal. The Mariners had the best one, and it's mainly because they had Ken Griffey Jr. and he swagged it out. But like, it was bad, dude.
For everyone listening, this is why you have to tune in every Wednesday night.
Yeah, so you can
The old
actually.
Mariners
see
jerseys
what
are cool with the trident and the M.
Yeah, but if you wear that in Chicago right now, you're getting shot in the face.
Yep.
But there's the White Sox uniforms forever right there.
Yep.
Shorts with high socks and knee pads with just a little bit of skin showing just enough to get a raspberry when you slide into the. What the fuck is this? The disco?
Yo.
That is a real uniform. That's Brooklyn Dodgers right there.
What
Is
that
material is
silk?
that? Is that felt?
Silk. That's
Yeah,
a
what is
silk. I dig the cleats though. The cleats are awesome. They're just black, which I love. Just
It
all
looks
black.
like something like your grandma would have made out of a curtain or some shit like that. Like
This is beautiful. What is this? Velvet?
velvet. All right, fellas. We did get through everyone's questions, so thank you very much to everyone that asked questions. We really appreciate it. We'll probably do it again next week because it was actually kind of fun, and hopefully the questions just evolve from there. If anything breaks, I don't see anything happening until February. We'll jump all over it. We're
Key for the lockout. If we got
hoping we'll have some special guests on here in the near future. I won't be here next week, but I think you two, if you want, jump on. I don't know if anything's going to be popping off, but yeah, for all those Fids, I'm Zoe. That's Pinwheels and Ivy. We'll see you guys soon.